This podcast is brought to you by Collector Legion. For all your single and gaming needs, there is no substitute. And if you're lucky enough to find yourself in LA with time to play, check them out for the best in-person gaming experience this side of the Pro Tour. Welcome to Split Second Sorcerers. I'm still your host with the most burn spells in his hand, Isaac Sears. And today on the pod, we have someone who has 5 Moto Challenge wins. He's top 8 at an SCG 5K and a 20K in the same weekend, and is the official Murktide Master who once won a team tournament without winning a single game in the top 8. It's
the one, the only
Max Kaminowski, or as you otherwise may know them, Twinless to win!
Let's go! What's up? How's everyone doing today? Excited to be on and answer some questions.
All right, first off the top, what's your favorite Magic deck of all time?
Splinter Twin, it's gotta be. I'm sorry to all you Murktide fans. I do love Murktide, great deck, but Splinter Twin, my first baby. I wish that I had a clue what I was doing when that deck was legal, because maybe we'll get to this question later, actually, about biggest punt, because, yeah, okay, let's keep going.
What's your favorite tourney venue?
Tourney venue? The San Diego RC was a really beautiful venue, but the one that holds the most special place in my heart is my local LGS versus games. So gotta give that one a shout out.
Hell yeah. All right, untap upkeep. Would you rather win by having a root opponent have a deck reg error or drawing runner, runner, runner?
I'd rather draw runner, runner, runner. Makes more epic story. Showcases my skill. Yeah.
What's the worst card you've ever registered in a constructed tournament?
Ooh. Well, you know, by today's standards, one might say Bloodbraid Elf. No. You know, I've registered the what's the vampire where you discard it as madness. It's like a 4/4. Basically, when Collected Company Rally the Ancestors was a deck, I thought my red black madness vampires deck was the answer, was the key. It had a good company matchup, I told people. So I had some pretty bad vampires in there. Yeah, so one of those for sure.
All right, next off the top, what's your favorite Magic keyword?
I really like Delve. I also like Affinity. So basically all the ones that are super busted.
You're looking for tax breaks over here, just I want to pay full cost.
I'm looking for, yeah, that's right. I'm looking for tax breaks.
Which card in Magic's history has the distinction of being the first card you hated?
First card I hated, it was Tarmogoyf, because I had Naya Zoo. And later on, I was a big Jund fan, but I started off on a budget. So I had Naya Zoo, and my opponent played a Tarmogoyf, and I just was like, I can't attack. Like, my Wild Nacatl can't attack. My Burning Tree Emissaries can't attack. Like, none of my creatures can attack. I've lost to this 2 mana, busted creature that was supposed to be in my Zoo deck, but I couldn't afford it. So I had like, this 2 mana 3/3 if you had a mountain or something. I forget what it's called, but it's like a budget Tarmogoyf.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was really a lot worse than Tarmogoyf, though, to be clear. But
what was your first favorite pet deck?
First favorite pet deck? Well, I mean, Splinter Twin. That's why. Yeah, Splinter Twin was my first competitive Magic deck for all of 2 months before it was banned.
If you could change one thing about Magic, what would it be?
I think play draw could use more balancing. I've spent way too much time thinking about this, dreaming about it. I probably don't have the right answer, but I've thought of things like, okay, maybe the player on the draw gets to scry in their first upkeep so that, you can get a little bit of information and then scry. It's not like you draw a full extra, scry then draw. Something like that, just because it's pretty clearly unbalanced, and I'm pretty surprised they haven't done more to try to, at least test new rules that could fix that. So that would be something that I would fix.
That's really cool. Do you have a favorite or most memorable pre-tourney pump-up song?
Yeah, I really like the song 5 Hours. It's a EDM song, and you know, to act it goes is like do 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 do. Though sometimes I listen to that song and lose, and I'm like, I fucking hate this song.
It's 5 more hours of this.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your favorite card to try and wheel in a limited format?
In a limited format, honestly, I don't know the answer to this one. I'm still learning draft. I'm working on it. I probably try to wheel like all the good cards, and they never wheel. So that's the truth.
All right, Black Glows will come back around.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Storm
right,
cards.
Do you have a favorite artwork or flavor text from a particular Magic card?
Yeah, my favorite Magic card is Bloodline Keeper, or my favorite artwork, because it was the card that I got. I opened it my first booster draft. It was Worlds PT Innistrad, and I did a booster draft and opened Bloodline Keeper, and you had to reveal your double-sided card to everyone at the table, and everyone was like, "Oh, that card's busted!" Like it's a 4-mana 3/3 flyer that you can tap to make a 2/2 flyer every turn, and it transforms into something even more busted on the back. Yeah. So and then Jason Chan was there, and I believe he's the artist. If he's not the artist, then it was someone else. It was someone else at the venue who was there who signed it. But I'm pretty sure it's Jason Chan.
Hell yeah. So when you go to the tax man, what do you tell him you do for a living?
I work in CPG, consumer packaged goods, and I help to manage and grow a French fry snack business. They're like chips shaped like French fries called Andy Caps. Super fun job, and I've just started 6 months ago, right out of college. Been loving it so far.
Woo! What's your favorite non-Magic story from a Magic trip?
There are so many to choose from. I have a lot of stories from when I was like younger and traveling with some of my friends from back home to Magic events. I think one that was pretty funny was we were all obsessed with Andrea Mancucci's legacy videos, and we tried to turn that into our ringtone. So we like stayed up all night before it was like before GP San Jose. We stayed up all night trying to figure out how to convert like his YouTube video into another legacy video. So that was pretty funny. Just a bunch of stories that I probably shouldn't tell online, so I'll keep this offline. That was like an innocent one, but
keep it fun, keep it light, keep it breezy.
Exactly. There have been some great hangs over the years.
All right, miracle trigger on the stack. If Magic ceased to be, please no, what would you do to fill the void?
I'd probably golf more. It's the other thing I waste a lot of time on these days. I'd work out. I'd start cooking more. Totally. No.
I do healthy things.
Yeah. No. I'd probably golf more.
What's the biggest or most memorable punt you've ever committed?
So going back to when I was just a Splinter Twin wannabe, and the deck was hard carrying me, I'd always just jam straight into any interaction. Like my Jund opponent, 5 mana, 5 cards in hand. I'm like, end of turn. Deceiver Exarch Splinter Twin, like they could have a million different cards to answer it. But the best one I ever had was I was up against Infect, and I had a Spellskite in play, which is very good against Infect. They had a Spellskite in play, so they just have a Blighted Agent. They attack me. They cast a pump spell on it. I think at this point they're thinking it's over. Like they can't do anything about my Spellskite. They're gonna lose. They cast a pump spell on their Infect creature. And I just let it resolve because I think, okay, if I use my Spellskite, they can just use theirs. And then it negates my Spellskite. But no, then it would just pump their Spellskite, which wouldn't matter. So, if I remember the story correctly, Nathan Stoyer was watching over my shoulder because he went to my LGS. And so Yeah, that was a good impression I made there. But yeah, it was a pretty funny story, and it was funny because I would like usually go 2-1 or 3-0 at F&M with Twins, so I guess the deck was pretty busted at the time because I like had a string of pretty decent results, and I had no clue what was going on. I think I also remanded a 0-mana spell against Ad Nauseam, but I forget what spell that was. But I just remanded like everything I could because I was panicking. I was like, shit, they're a combo deck. I just need to remand this. So some pretty awesome stories from when I was playing Twin.
What Magic level up moment paid the biggest dividends for you in your Magic career?
Working with players who are better than you. I think that was huge. I mean, I still remember testing at my LGS. I'd play like really bad decks. I had a phase after Twin was banned where I played Death and Taxes, Merfolk. Basically, like I bought a pair of Aether Vials, and I was like, what the fuck do I do with these?
Not the playset, just two.
Oh, a playset. Sorry, I did have a playset, a pair. It would have been better if it was a pair, so I could have gotten away from it faster. But and I would think stuff like, oh yeah, my Jund matchup is so good. But it turns out that the Jund player who was at our LGS just sucked. Like he was so bad. And I'm sorry if you're watching this, you know who you are, but like you really were bad, and you made me think my matchup was good, and I'd go to like PPTQs and just get my shit kicked because they actually had any idea what they were doing. So yeah, play with players better than you, especially when you're trying to test it and you know improve, or players who are ambitious and want to learn alongside you. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite or most memorable moment of BM?
BM. Yeah, there was. Oh man, there was this player online who was playing Shadow, and I was playing Murktide, and I Blood Mooned them, and they started really raging on me in chat, and it was on Christmas Day, so I was like, Merry Christmas to you too, I guess. But I screenshotted that and put it on Twitter, and it got a ton of likes. People thought it was really funny, and I think what I said back to them was like, all right, like GG's, like, by the way, I'm going to try to do this to you in game 2 as well. So maybe fetch a basic next time. And they did not like that. So yeah, it was, and then later I gave away a Blood Moon. I did a Blood Moon giveaway. So it was pretty funny.
What's the first Magic card you remember? Picture, name, which would have you?
Bloodline Keeper comes to mind. The other card that comes to mind is Mindbreak Trap. My brother and I played a lot of like kitchen table Magic, and he had a Mindbreak Trap in his deck, and we thought it was so busted because it would just exile everything of like permanents too. So any non-land permanent or spell. So you just wait for them to cast a spell, and then you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna wipe. No, just like you just pay 4 mana. Then you'd be like, all right, I'm going to exile all your creatures and planeswalkers and the spell on the stack, like all of it. I'm just going to choose all of it. And then it's just, okay, this card, like, how is this card legal? It's busted. So,
you know, if that's what it actually did, it would make sense why it costs like $80 right now.
Yeah, that card does cost $80, which is crazy. Maybe I should look through my bulk box and see if I can dig one up.
Oh, man. Last card in the library. What's the best or healthiest constructed format of all time?
Ooh.
Year, sets, paint a picture.
Yeah, I honestly have really liked post MH2 Modern. I think that it's really solid. However, now that I say that, I'm changing my mind. I really liked I really liked Legacy with Luris before they changed the companion rule. I thought that format was awesome. Luris was definitely busted, but there was a lot of different Luris decks you could do, and I felt like there was a lot of maneuverability there. So that was a great format. And all the like the Ancient Tomb decks sucked, which is what I always look for in Legacy. So yeah, that's my unbiased opinion.
All right, so Dad says I got to get off the modem so he can check on his 3 shares of Hasbro stock. So we're going to have to wrap up this pod with this last query. Steak, disco, or curly fries?
I was gonna take the steak before you said curly fries, but that's is an opportunity you can never pass up. If there's curly fries, I'm ordering them. I'll take the fries.
All right, my friend, as we come to a close here, do you have any upcoming tournaments the fans can sweat you in, or perhaps a place where the good people can find you or your content?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at twinless or search my name, Max Komanowski. And then you can also check out some of my Murktide content. I think there's a link on my Twitter, but I run a Patreon with Pyganti, who's another big Murktide fan. And we've got a huge, awesome community of Murktide aficionados, and we're getting ready for RC Denver. So if you're getting ready for the modern RC, check it out. And thank you so much for having me on today.
Well, that does it for this episode. Thanks to my guests, Max, Richard Garfield, and you, the viewer. If you all have any guests or questions you'd like to see asked on this program, feel free to let me know in the comments or just hit me up on Twitter at MikeGikes. And remember, folks, it's handshake, sign the slip, then take your O3 deck and throw it in the trash, not the other way around.
It's my Merfolk deck.